So in this video, I want to talk about this Terry Crews and Gabrielle Union situation that so many of you have been asking me to talk about. And they spoke about it today on The Real. I watched the clips, so I decided to go ahead and make a video. And just an FYI before I get started, I will be uploading a video on my new channel, Feminine Strategy and Lifestyle, tomorrow or Wednesday. So for those of you who have been patiently waiting, there will be another video very soon. The link to subscribe is in the description box. I know I've been on a little YouTube break, but I've been living my life. What can I say? So for those of you who don't know, back in December, Gabrielle Union's contract as a judge, a panel judge, I believe. I don't watch the show, but I think she was a judge on the panel of America's Got Talent. Her contract was not renewed because she filed complaints about sexism and racism and hair discrimination. So apparently Terry Crews is now the host of America's Got Talent. Again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't watch the show. And so he was asked on the Today Show if he witnessed anything that Gabrielle described. And he said that that was not his experience.
Gabrielle Union controversy, of course. There are reports that her contract wasn't renewed because she reported a toxic atmosphere existed at the show. You're at the show. Is there a toxic atmosphere?
First of all, I can't speak for sexism because I'm not a woman, but I can't speak on behalf of any racism comments. That was never my experience on America's Got Talent. In fact, it was the most diverse place I have ever been in my 20 years of entertainment. The top 10 acts were Asian, women, older, younger, black, white. It was everything in the gamut. Now, I have to say this, too. When you look at what the allegations are about, it was given by an unnamed source. My thing is, it's funny because I believe you should listen to women. You should always believe women. So I asked my wife what I should do. And she was like, first of all, if it's coming from an unnamed source, because Gabrielle Union has not made any statement to this day about any of these allegations publicly. Yeah. So
have you spoken to her?
I have not. I have reached out, but I have not heard anything. And so my thing was, my wife said, well, if she hasn't made a statement, why would you? Yeah. And I said, you know what? I'm going to listen to her.
So after this aired, Black women have pretty much been dragging Terry because a couple years back when he spoke about getting groped by a white man and, he was on his Me Too thing, Gabrielle Union was one of the many Black women who defended him. And I remember when that happened, Black women really, really stood behind Terry Crews heavy. Black women really supported him with that situation. And Gabrielle Union, she did respond to this in several tweets. A supporter tweeted her and she said, "Nothing but love and support for you. We see you and appreciate you. Keep standing in your truth." And she said, "Thank you, because girl, truth telling, wanting change, and having multiple witnesses who bravely came forward to let everyone know I didn't lie or exaggerate really exposes those who enthusiastically will throw you under the bus, forgetting quickly who stepped up for their truth." Then she said, "Why would anyone gleefully get up on TV and tell lies that no one disputed? But we already know." And that is, I forgot about that. A lot of her coworkers, I believe, did come out and defend her, and say, hey, this is happening. This is going on. So, yeah, nobody did dispute that. Terry's the only one saying that this, wasn't happening. Then she said in another tweet, "Can someone please ask about what happens to all that diversity folks are talking about behind the scenes? Where the hell is all that diversity in the production though, homie?" Then she says, "Man, we all agreed to let the investigation be completed before speaking, but if we doing this, oh baby, let's go." So, of course, Black women are agreeing with Gabrielle and they're saying, well, she had your back. Terry, why didn't you stay on code? Why didn't you have her back? And it's opening up this conversation about Black men and how they don't reciprocate the support that is given by Black women. Because we all know that Terry's not the first. Anytime something happens to a Black man, whether it's what happened to Terry or, when they experience racism, when they get shot, or just when anything happens to them, Black women are the first ones to jump up and defend them. And Black men will say, oh, symbolic support means nothing, blah, blah, blah. But then they get mad when we say we're going to take away our symbolic support. So it's like, Does it mean something or doesn't? Obviously, black men do care about symbolic support. They care about when black women defend them. And if I'm not mistaken, Terry Crews thanked black women for defending him during that time. So, it's very interesting how, when we're defending them, when we're giving that symbolic support, it means everything in the world. But when we say we're not going to do it anymore, all of a sudden it's meaningless, So we know they're just not telling the truth. So it did open up that conversation. And on The Real today, they addressed it as well. And they pretty much said the same thing.
Why is it not instilled in him to protect this woman? She protected him when he was in another adverse situation. She put her voice out there. And I think I speak for a lot of sisters. I think I speak for a lot of sisters when I say it's part of the bigger conversation of black women earnestly wanting the support from our brothers when we are speaking out and speaking up. And there really should just be a code, because so many sisters feel like so often we're on code and our brothers aren't. If a black man had said what you said, like in the statement about, like, if a black man had stood up here and said, a lot of black women are not able to be in faithful relationships, I'm telling you that there wouldn't have been an onslaught of rage against that person in the same way that there was against you. And I genuinely feel that way. I think that black women are still constantly put on the chopping block in a way that doesn't need to be done. And I really want to see our brothers practice selflessness versus selfishness when it comes to protecting us.
Now, I don't always agree with what Amanda says, or anyone else on The Real for that matter, but what she said here is correct. If a black man said what Lonnie said about black men being unfaithful, but he said it about black women, there would not have been the same amount of outrage, not by black men or black women. But as soon as a black woman says something they deem to be anti-black male, the entire community steps up to defend black men. Black men are always worthy of defense in this community, while black women are not. Now, what I don't agree with is the way black women like Amanda are still asking them to stop being selfish, because they've shown us that they're not going to do it time and time again. But I'll come back around to that in a second. So after this, Terry took to Twitter and he said, "There is only one woman on earth I have to please. Her name is Rebecca. Not my mother, my sister, my daughters, or co-workers. I will let their husbands, boyfriends, partners take care of them. Rebecca gives me wings." And Rebecca is his wife. So black women, that translates to, I am not obligated to defend or protect black women or Gabrielle Union. That is pretty much what Terry was saying. And listen, fair enough. He's right. He is not obligated to protect anyone but his wife. And honestly, ladies, this isn't any different from what black men have been telling us every time we complain about them not defending us or protecting us. It could be when, we experience colorism, when we experience racism from other groups of men. They'll tell us in a heartbeat, I'm not going to protect anyone but my wife, my sisters. It's not my job to protect the collective of black women. It's not my job to instill self-esteem in them. They have been telling us this over and over and over again. So my question to black women is, now that you know this, now that black men are telling you this repeatedly, what are you going to do about it? Like, are you going to keep crying about it on Twitter and basically begging them for protection? Or are you going to get on code? Because I told you this year is going to be all about code. Or are you going to get on code, move accordingly, and do what they do? How about you take notes, black women? Stop trying to force them into protecting you, and stop supporting black men you don't know. How about you do what Terry said and only defend the personal black men in your life like he said he does? I mean, they keep telling you that you don't deserve their support. So to me, this is a very simple solution. You don't have to defend black men like Terry when they complain about sexism or racism, or when something happens to them. You don't have to defend them. Let their wives defend them, okay? And this goes for any other celebrity black man that experiences sexism or racism going forward. Like I have been saying, get on code. Staying on code and leveling up are the mottos for black women in 2020. It's time to stop fighting black men's battles or trying to fight black men's battles or simply symbolically supporting them. It's time to stop all of that. Let their wives and their girlfriends and their mothers and other black men fight for them. And as far as the black women who are mad at his wife for, not having solidarity with other women or, black women specifically. Listen, ladies, she's doing what she's supposed to do. His wife and their family gotta eat, and she is going to protect her bag at all costs. So, of course, she's gonna tell her husband not to make a statement. Of course, that's how she's eating. That's how she's getting her money and her gifts and her food on the table. What black women need to be doing, again, is taking notes. Both Terry and his wife are putting themselves first, like you should be doing. And you wouldn't be so disappointed if you weren't trying to fight everyone else's battles but your own. That's why when I saw this, I didn't really care, because I didn't have my cape on for Terry to begin with when that Me Too stuff happened. Like, I didn't say anything. You see how that works? When you're not invested in caping for black men, you aren't disappointed when they don't return the favor. And listen, black women, I agree with you. And I understand. I really do. Terry works there, for America's Got Talent. So I get the conflict of interest. He's not trying to lose his job, but he could have chosen not to answer the question. He could have said, oh, I don't know about it, so I choose not to answer the question. There are ways to dodge the question. And I don't know if black women would have been satisfied with that either, to be honest. But as black women, we're just going to have to come to terms with the fact that black men aren't going to defend or protect us as a collective. It's a very hard pill to swallow, but that's our reality. So now we need to focus on leveling up. We need to focus on femininity, hypergamy, and, getting individual protectors and providers that can protect us, and stop expecting that from the collective of black men and black male celebrities. Unfortunately, you are not going to collectively get what other races of women get from their men in terms of collective protection and public support or symbolic support. But you need to start working on finding solace in that and using that to fuel your level up journey and your femininity journey, as well as using that information to find the highest caliber man you can find, so you can create your own individual paradise where you do have a first line of defense and protection. And, I think it's normal for black women to want collective support and validation from their men. All races of women want that. So I would never shame you for wanting that. But there does come a time where we have to stop asking and just treat them how they treat us. And listen, black women, I agree that there should be a code among black women and black men, just black people in general, like there are with other groups. And I agree that there should be reciprocity when we defend them, but there's not. So what you going to do about it? It's time for you to move on, ladies. Follow your own code and accept what you're not going to get from black men. Accept reality and come to terms with that. Come to terms with the reality and burn the cape. So yeah, that is pretty much all I have to say about this. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section, and I'll catch up with you in the next video.